Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. Today, I'm really excited to show you the first two, budget-friendly Wampler pedals ever. These are the brand new Triumph Overdrive and the Phenom Distortion, which are the first two pedals of their brand new Wampler Collective series. Later on, I'll talk about what my take is, like how these can be much more affordable than normal Wampler pedals, because in terms of tone, you don't really sacrifice anything. But first, a little housekeeping. In case you enjoy what you're seeing here, make sure to hit thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and all those cool stuff. And of course, check out the description box under the video. If you open the more info or whatever the name is, that field, you'll find tons of infos, timestamps, gear links, my signal chain, etc. All right, let's start with the Triumph Overdrive, which has a 3-band EQ, bass, middle, treble, volume, gain, and a switch, a mini toggle switch. Man, what this does in the smooth setting with like a Tele, Strat, or anything with a single coil, that is my favorite tone out of this pedal. Or a punchy tone if you flick this down. The thing that changes is that you have a more controlled and more, louder low end in the punch mode, and just a little bit more focused, harder sound. In terms of volume and gain, you have lots of both on tap. So you can make this sound pretty much like a distortion pedal if you max it out. But I found it nicest between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, that kind of like from left to right. That range is like the most natural sounding to my ears. But if your guitar has and your amp has a very tight tone, you can definitely max this one out. And the volume, you have so much volume on tap. It's crazy. I found like unity volume around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock ish. Like you have so much more to crank this thing if you need to or if you want to. A few words about the 3-band EQ. The bass sits pretty low, so it really gives you that low end rumble if you crank it. The mids are, I would say it's like a higher mids, upper mids. At least that's how it sounds to me. I found it nicest around 12 o'clock. I wouldn't go crazy on this, well, at least with my rig. And the treble is a very pleasant, not too fizzy, not too high frequency kind of treble. It's a very creamy sounding drive. And even the treble knob sort of helps to keep that creaminess. Let me walk you through the Phenom. So bass, mids, treble, same thing as on the Triumph, volume gain, and a mini toggle. Here the mini toggle does the following. On the lower setting, it's called Classic. It's a very organic, wide, not too anything kind of tone, you know what I mean? Like not too bassy, not too trebly, not too mid-humpy, not too scooped. It's just a very balanced, nice gain tone, drive tone. And in the upper setting, this bright setting, it is more bright, so I totally get it why they called it bright, but it's also a bit more, well, harder sounding, if you know what I mean. Like it's more aggressive, but not just more trebly. I think this is some kind of a cool mid-range, what the bright switch boosts, because the tone and the feel of the pedal changes totally. So it's really like two pedals in one enclosure, just because of this bright switch, which shouldn't do that much of a difference, but it really does. And then a few words about the EQ section. The bass, mids, and treble react in a very similar way as the Triumph does. So the bass is a very low frequency bass, real rumbly kind of low end, really comfy and nice sounding. The mids, again, very effective. I kind of liked it in the middle, around the middle. And the treble is, again, not a too high frequency treble, like not the kind of fizzy treble frequency, way more like an upper mid-range kind of boost and cut. I bet both of these pedals, the Triumph and the Phenom, will work really well with like American blackface kind of amps, or probably even with an AC30, even though those amps are really tricky if you want to put an overdrive pedal in front of them. And since both of these do not have that kind of aggressive presence or treble frequency, I bet both of these will work really well with deluxe reverb, with super reverb, whatever, Princeton, those kind of amps that have a lot of top hands. how can these pedals be so much more affordable than whichever other Wampler pedal? I'm not sure how much of these, like the assembly or the PCB or whatever, is produced somewhere where it's much faster or cheaper. I don't really have infos on it, but I'm pretty sure they made sure that the building process is way faster, which of course saves time, and with that you massively decrease the costs you have per unit, per pedal, which is a huge help. So you can go way lower with the street price. And another very cool and practical thing is the enclosure. These are 100% identical. You have the same amount of holes for the pods and the switch and whatever, the LED. The jacks are top mount jacks. Everything is the same except for the finish, the color, and well, the logo. So these are just a few of those points that help to cut costs, and also like designing the pedal, making it look super cool with some fancy drawings on it or whatever. You can save a lot of money if you just make something that sounds great and just put it in an enclosure that fits another design as well. And I'm pretty sure these are not the last two collective pedals. I do not have any info, but I would be surprised if these were the only collective pedals. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe next year. We'll see. If you keep everything identical, same amount of holes, the enclosure can be mass produced and used for whichever pedal. I think that is the best way of saving costs, and with that, keeping the price of the product way, way lower, because you don't really sacrifice functionality. You have the good stuff inside. It's just a much simpler, well, way of putting it in front of you on stage or in the rehearsal room. All right, let me know in the comments below what you think about them, how you liked the tones you've heard. And of course, let me know if you have any questions left, if there's anything I didn't address. You guys take it easy. Meet you down there in the comments, and see you next week in a new video. Bye-bye.